Welcome to the Super Speedway.
Welcome to episode 190 of the Super Speedway podcast, recorded Wednesday, April 14th, 2021. I'm your host, Eric Young, and I am joined, as always, by my co-host, James Cush. Sounding a little bit better together, a little bit better today, James. Wow. It took to the first or the second sentence of the show, and it's already off the rails.
Did you miss us, everyone?
Right?
We took a week off and stumbled right back out of the gate.
Jeez. You know, and if we were real professionals, we'd just redo it. But guess what, guys? This is what you got.
This is it. We are on a time crunch.
There you go. Yeah.
Way it goes.
Exactly. Yeah. So James has the new mic this week and sound a little bit better. Almost got.
Yeah. Let's see how it goes.
Might fool everybody and make them think you're in the room with me, James. But
maybe we'll see.
The magic of the internet.
Yep.
And you know, I've got a new pug puppy, and the family is babysitting it in the living room right now, just outside of the podcast studio. So if there's noise that occurs in the background, well, it's
the new future star of our show.
Yeah,
I'm betting on that.
He's pretty quiet right now, but I'm sure that will change.
Oh yeah, he hasn't hit full adolescence yet.
Exactly.
Oh man, he's gonna be all up in your business.
It was my mother-in-law's dog that taught Bella how to bark, so I'm sure that eventually they'll meet and he will teach this one how to bark too.
Well, don't bring him over to my house because my Basset will definitely teach him how to bark.
Yeah, but he's got a great bark. If he could bark like a Basset Hound, that would be awesome.
Well, I mean, you want to hear him bark, you just come pick him up anytime you want.
I'm good.
Yeah, one's enough.
There you go. I still have yet to. So James, I ordered on Amazon a pack of 12 sound dampening boards to hang in here.
Oh man, and you're going full blow.
Well, I had them in the old podcast studio too, but the ones I had at the old one were foam and they were black, and they worked there because it was kind of off to the corner where nobody went. But like, this is really visible from the living room in this house.
Yeah.
So I had to get some white ones that kind of blend in with the walls a little bit better. But I haven't hung them yet, so it's still echoey in here.
Well, that was a full pandemic ago. I mean, This is, you were recording in a shoebox apartment for 14 months. So
right, yeah, exactly.
It's got to be an improvement.
Yeah, the foam ones that I had from the old studio were in a box in our storage unit, and they did not fare very well. So
yes, I can only imagine.
Those are being retired. So. But we're back this week to talk about some Martinsville racing. It was the horrible Blue Emu.
Let me help you, Eric. It was the Blue Emu Maximum Pain Relief 500.
Yes. Yeah.
Eric, what happened to you over the break, man?
Don't know, man. It's the pug. I'm telling you.
Lack of sleep?
No, yeah, but it hasn't been that bad. He sleeps through the night.
Well, here's the thing. You're catching me, so the baby finally is like getting. I'm knocking on wood.
Now you just woke it up.
I know. Yeah. So she's been sleeping the last 3 nights, and I've been waking up like super well rested. So I feel fantastic.
That's why you sound all fiery today. And
we are on the opposite ends of the spectrum right now.
You've been on social media too, on our private chats. It's been.
I know. Yeah, I'm really feisty lately. I don't know what my problem is.
Yeah,
I'm going through something.
Trying to stir up crap. Maybe we'll start some fights tonight. That'll be good.
Good, yeah, let's do it. I'm in. I'm ready.
So we got our first repeat winner of the season. Martin Truex Jr. wins at Martinsville. I don't know. I guess I should pull the stats up here and maybe I could talk about this race a little bit.
Yeah.
You'd think I'd have been prepared before the show.
Well, that's how we roll.
Yeah. So Truex only led 20 laps on this race. He led 2 times for that.
The most important one, by the way.
Yeah. The race was instead dominated by Denny Hamlin and Ryan Blaney. I thought this was Blaney's race. I thought for sure Blaney was going to get this
thing.
Yeah,
it was. That last caution was the nail in the coffin for him, which sucks because he was chomping on Denny Hamlin's rear bumper.
Yep.
And man, I was really pulling for him for many reasons, not fantasy related.
I was cheering. Yeah, I was cheering for Denny because I just wanted the
streak.
Yeah, I wanted the new winners to keep going. And then, Chase Elliott was waiting right there too. And I was looking forward to seeing Chase Elliott and Denny Hamlin get into it or something, but I don't think Chase has got it in him. I don't think Chase would have done it.
But I don't know. I don't know. He's he's riding that championship wave right now. So
yeah,
I mean, he might have just let it go, but I don't know.
Fun.
That elusive win for a couple of these guys. Denny, Denny's dominating the point standings, so I mean he's not going anywhere. So he's got that regular season lock, so he doesn't technically need to win.
And he's going to though. I mean it's
he
just
is.
a matter of time. He's right there every week.
Yeah, he is. He's gonna win, and Ryan Blaney's gonna win some more too. That was, I know Hamlin led the most laps, but Blaney won the stages and was just had that long run speed, Eric, that fared well earlier in the day.
Yep.
And then it got really choppy there in that last stage. A lot of wrecks, red
as
flag.
Martinsville often does.
Yep.
How do you wreck 12 cars or however many were in that wreck at
terrible.
Martinsville?
I know.
Coming out of the turn, it wasn't even on the end of at the end of the straightaway.
Well, that's the thing. Like you think Martinsville is slow,
right?
It's not as slow as you think it is. Go back a few years and watch that Truex Casey Kane crash there. Just Google that.
Well, the thing is there's just so much torque in those cars coming off the turns that they get up to speed quick.
And there's nowhere to go at Martinsville. I mean, you really are. You're fighting in a you're fighting in a pit there. So that happened quick and took out a lot of contenders.
Yeah, it did.
I mean, I say contenders, but more so main names.
Brad Keselowski was there. I mean,
he was there. He was having trouble though. He spun a couple of times.
Yep.
He got clipped in that one. Wasn't Bubba in there too?
I feel like he was
rallied.
in it. Yeah.
Yeah, but there was a couple of guys that were, Kyle Busch obviously.
Yep.
Kyle did not want to give up the line, so he just took it.
Yeah.
Kind of catered the whole thing, but that was De Benedetto, I think, was involved too. I mean, there was a handful that really got taken out there.
Yeah.
In that late crash, but that was it. I mean, that pit stop on the 12 team, you got to think like there's got to be something going on. Talks are being had because that was a race costing pit stop.
Yeah.
For those guys, which sucks because you get it all on the track and then you blow it, in a pit stop. But that's NASCAR Cup racing.
Yeah, I mean that's why we do it, and I mean it's been a trend with Blaney's team too that they fall off when they need to perform and they aren't able to, and
yes.
But Martin Truex benefits from it, gets the win. I said, first two-time winner of the season. Ran good all day. Third place in both first two stages. So,
what do we think of Martin Truex Jr., the short track ace now?
I don't know how it happened, but suddenly
over 80 going into when he won his first one, and now he's got five wins here very recently. So he's that team. I mean, they probably could have won the fall race thinking back on it too.
Mm-hmm.
Towards the end of last year, but definitely. I mean, he won this race a year ago. Well, not a year ago. We had the wonky, we had that wonky gap in time last year. But I mean, this spring race, I guess you'd say, won that one a year ago. So not a surprise that Martin Truex Jr. won, but that team, Eric, looks like we've got something going on there. That was I guess an atypical Martin Truex Jr. win, wouldn't you say? I mean, usually he doesn't rally. Usually when they show up, they're fast and they kick everybody's butt.
Yeah, he does tend to dominate races.
That was a rally.
That's scary. I mean, for everybody, if he can pull that off and do the Kevin Harvick-esque win, that comes out of nowhere. I mean, and the best part is we go to Richmond this weekend and it's just another race that he could win.
Well, that's what and that's kind of where I'm going to. He won Phoenix, and that's 750. He won Martinsville, heading into Richmond now. So we've got all these playoff tracks. He's got two wins. He's the two most important tracks at the end of the playoffs, Martinsville, then leading into Phoenix, obviously for the championship. He's only led a total of 84 laps in those two races, but found a way to get them both. And if we're looking at championship contenders, he's the guy right now. No doubt about it. That 19 team looks like the 78 team of old. Just by the ways of, getting these wins, but doing it in a different way, which, like you said, I'll second that. Definitely scary. If Martin Truex Jr. is getting better throughout a race like that, that's something that the field's probably got to be peeking over their shoulder a little bit.
Yeah, and we've talked all season that at some point somebody's going to go on a run, and we're going to stop having these new winners. And I mean, who better than Martin Truex Jr. to be that guy?
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah, absolutely.
it's happening
And
at the
you
right
know,
time for him. Of course, we leave Richmond and go to Talladega, and that's a crapshoot, and you never know what's going to happen there.
sure, yeah, but
But
you know
Truex is
one,
good everywhere. I mean, he's good on mile and a half. Well, though he's struggled on mile and a half lately. Now he's great on short
yeah.
tracks. You know.
Well, and you know we discredit Martin Truex's season last year because he only had the one win. But remember late last summer, Eric, when we got to Kansas, New Hampshire, Michigan, he went on that run of what was it? One, two. I'm looking at the stats right now. It was one, two, three, four, five, six, seven, eight top four finishes in a row.
Yeah.
He
Well,
didn't have a
shoot,
win.
if you took
Didn't have a
Martin
win,
Truex,
but he got.
if
But
you
it was
took
a
his
run.
second place finishes in his career, he'd probably have double the wins if you made them all wins.
Yeah, exactly. He had a bunch of those last year too. It's not like he wasn't up front. It's
Yeah.
just that they weren't closing. But maybe that's just James Small and that team, getting another year of experience under their belt now. They've had a full season of trials and tribulations, I guess. But now they're back.
All those
So,
people that said Truex couldn't win without Cole Pern.
yeah, he's got three of them now.
Yeah.
So I mean, he's winning races.
He's definitely, we say this every time somebody wins, but he's a championship favorite. None of us would be surprised if he was in the Final Four.
Yep. It's completely, and I feel like we've had, when he wins these races, it's been a minute since we've talked about him historically, but this second wave of his career, the second act, I guess, has just been, I mean, just by itself, just one of the most incredible, Hall of Fame type runs we've ever seen in the sport.
Yeah.
We compare him to Dale Jarrett. That's the one that kind of stands out, but he's surpassing him now at this point with the numbers that he's starting to put up.
Well,
It's just been incredible.
Dale Jr. shared a little nugget on his show, his podcast last week. Because I'm behind because I've been working from home, so I haven't been listening to the show much.
Yeah.
But he tried to get Hendrick to hire Truex.
Yes, that was a great nugget.
Yeah,
Yes.
I didn't realize that. Doesn't surprise me because Junior's pretty faithful to the guys that he works with, and I know he and Truex had a good relationship and continue to have a good relationship. So, that'd have been interesting. And then also I stumbled across an old Graham Norton. I think it's not Graham Norton. Graham Norton's the other show, but whatever the show is, the guy just did the Kyle Busch thing that always gets these great interviews. He had Brad Keselowski a while back, and Keselowski talked about that he was scheduled to, like, he had a promise from Hendrick to go to the 5 car when Mark Martin retired.
Yes.
And then
Yes.
Mark Martin won that race, and that was the end of Brad Keselowski going to Hendrick. So that makes me go back to, we talk about the thoughts of Keselowski going to Hendrick Motorsports now, but he's probably still got a chip there from that, and you don't really want to go to Hendrick.
He very well might. Well, that's the running joke that we've had is where's James putting people, and he's the main one. But
they're all going to 2311.
They're all going 2311 racing. You're right, Eric. It's speaking of Dale Jr., we're going to talk about this in a minute, but eye for talent, that guy. You think?
Yeah.
By the way, we'll talk about that when we get to the Xfinity Series race. Just wanted to mention that because another junior motorsports breakthrough.
Yeah.
That we'll get into after we finish up with the Cup here. But I just Martin Truex, never been one of my favorite. I've been pretty vocal about that. But
you've been pretty hard on him in his career.
Yeah, and the thing is the more these guys make me eat crow, the more I start to warm up to him a little bit. And
right.
You can't deny the dominance, which is the same thing like it happened with Jeff Gordon, and the same thing with Kyle Busch. I like to poke fun at Kyle Busch, but I have no denials that is the best talent I think maybe I've ever seen behind a wheel. So
right.
It's just Martin Truex Jr. is just, and this team is just incredible what they've been able to do.
Yeah, I agree. And I mean, there's still things about Truex that I'm not a fan of. I'm with you on the whole. He likes to talk big but never backs it up type of thing. That drives me crazy with drivers, and that's definitely a Martin Truex issue. And and I mean,
he's not confrontational.
That's been acknowledged by his buddy Dale Jr. So I mean, and I'm sure Truex probably would acknowledge it too if he would.
I think it cost him a championship. Honestly, the 2018 title. I think that they could have won that title if he was a little bit more of a Logano, I guess.
Mm-hmm. Well, and other drivers have said it too, because people will make comments about how he doesn't like the way people are racing him, and it's just,
screaming at his spotter, things like that.
Right. But now the one thing I will say is that Truex isn't one that will sit there and say, I shouldn't be raced like that, and then race other people like that. Like, I don't know, Tony Stewart used to do. He will race people with the same respect that he expects to be raced with, and that has cost him races.
I'm glad we're talking about this too, Eric, because I think that, we see it that way. But when Joey Logano and him got together halfway through the race, do you remember this?
Mm-hmm.
Joey got into him pretty big and could have stayed in the throttle all the way down the front stretch and bulldozed his way into turn one. Joey gave that spot back.
Yeah.
And, I wonder if part of that is respect for Martin Truex Jr. or I don't know why Joey would have done that. Joey doesn't seem like the type of guy.
It's not in Joey's nature.
It's not Joey's nature, right?
Maybe maybe he didn't realize who it was that he was going to get wrecked by and thought Truex was going to dump him.
He's flipping Blaney off during the race, which is his teammate. He's all over the place. But, I wonder, Eric, if maybe I'll speak for myself. Maybe I've misread Martin a little bit, because when Joey did that and gave him his spot back, I just saw that as a sign of maybe it's champions respect.
Yeah.
That you see there. I mean, those guys, both have held the crown.
Right.
They may not like each other, but I don't know if Joey cuts other guys that same break. I don't know. I know these guys have had a past, but still, Joey backing off and giving somebody the lane, you just don't see it.
Well,
maybe that's Matt Kenseth, too.
Well, let me give one. Yeah, exactly. Let me give you one here. Martin Truex Jr. is Mark Martin with the championship.
Sure. Yeah.
I mean, he asks to be raced the same way that Mark did. He wants to be raced with respect. He races others with respect. The difference is that when Mark did it, half the field was still racing that way, and some of the young guys coming in weren't. And now that Truex is doing it, nobody races like that anymore.
No, it's definitely a young
He's
man's
the
game.
odd man out now. It's the way the Xfinity, and that's why the Xfinity series is so good, because nobody has any respect for anybody.
Right. And you got these couple guys coming in that don't respect each other. But that goes back to Joey and Martin are both champions, and when you've held the crown. I guess they say heavy is the weight that wears the crown, right? Or heavy is the head that wears the crown. You feel some of that pressure, and maybe that's where some of that comes from. I don't know, but still, I thought that was kind of I kind of shook my head at the time. But now that we're talking this out on the podcast, one of the great reasons I love doing this with you is it helps me have a better view on those types of perspectives. So. Kind of a cool deal, actually, now that I'm thinking about it, even though Joey was all over the place on Sunday, but still good show from those guys.
Making friends like normal.
That's right. With his grin, that short track racing, right? The Denny Hamlin.
Oh yeah.
I can't do it like Denny. I'm not gonna try.
I gotta find it on the soundboard.
Short track racing.
There you go.
Oh, I forgot we had that on the soundboard.
Oh yeah.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Good.
It's just labeled as Denny Hamlin now, so I'm like, is that the right one? I don't. I changed the soundboard a while back because when I got the new iPad, there was a delay on the old soundboard, and it drove me crazy. So this one has no delay, but I'm still not used to it. Yeah, it actually is nicer because the buttons are way bigger, and it's really easy to see.
Drop those sound bites. I love that.
Yeah. So we made it, let's see here, 56 laps on Saturday night when this race was supposed to run. Got some rain, and that was the end of it. We finished it up on Sunday. And James, I'm trying to remember back. This is the third scheduled night race? For
they've all been a disaster.
Yeah, we've had a problem with every single one. Maybe we should just run this race in the day and finish it at night, like ends up happening in the fall.
It's like when we moved the Daytona 500 date. You know, it started getting wrecked by rain. I don't know why the night race seems cursed. I'm glad you put that in the notes because I thought about that. And there it was in the notes, staring right at me. So
I feel like the spring Martinsville race has been a disaster no matter what. But whoever thought running it at night was a good idea.
I know we love the idea of the night race at Martinsville. It just hasn't worked out.
It's just the wrong time of year.
I guess, yeah.
And that's like, again, Junior had Marcus Smith on his show, and they were talking about switching Bristol and Sonoma dates. And Marcus said that the reason that Sonoma looks so awesome this time of year is it's the rainy season. But at least that's a road course, and if you race in the rain, who cares? Of course, they're testing rain tires at Martinsville. I guess we didn't put this in the notes, but that maybe in the future we'll run in the rain at Martinsville. But
yeah,
I don't know.
Hey, I'm for that.
I don't know if I am, man. I'm good with it on the road course.
I'm good with anything once.
Yeah, I mean, now we run on dirt. I mean, why not?
What the hell ever? Yeah, I know.
Let's run an ice race too.
Well, you probably can't switch the Bristol date at this point because that track's still covered in dirt. They haven't got the teardown started yet. They're still racing on the day.
Yeah, I think the World of Outlaw sprint cars race this weekend there.
Yeah, so there's more Bristol dirt coming. So they're getting the full gauntlet. So
yeah,
but yeah, I'm good.
Junior's prediction on the show was that in 10 years that place will be ripped up and it will be a permanent dirt track.
Oh, really?
It's interesting.
Interesting thought. Not North Wilkesboro?
No, North Wilkesboro. I think the track is in better condition than the stands.
yeah. Yeah. I had read that that you could maybe see North Wilkesboro becoming the permanent dirt track on the circuit. So I don't know.
The problem is it's just the North Wilkesboro.
That's hearsay stuff.
As much as everybody wants North Wilkesboro to come back, the reason that North Wilkesboro died is where it's at, and that's not going to change if you revamp the track.
Well, Marcus Smith was winking about it. So
I know.
We'll see. I know he got everybody all riled up. So
yeah, he likes to give some info out on the old download.
Listen, he's not stupid. He's going to say things like that, gauge the interest, and put the data behind it before he does anything.
And he took a shot at me because I posted on Twitter the week.
He did? I didn't see this.
Well, not officially at me.
Oh, okay.
But I felt it personally. So I posted on Twitter the weekend. I think Sunday when the dirt race got rained out, that you can't take a bunch of asphalt guys, pronounce it correctly, asphalt guys, and have them build a dirt track and expect it to be successful. And he commented on Junior's show. He said, "Where's the asphalt guys? He says we got dirt tracks. We know what we're doing with dirt tracks." It's like, yeah, right, whatever,
Okay.
Marcus.
Okay, Marcus.
Although I know they've had some disasters of the dirt tracks with dust and stuff too, so maybe they're not as good at it as they like to think they are.
Maybe not. We'll see.
They're not Tony Stewart, so.
Yeah, that's right.
I'll give Smoke his jabs every now and then, but the guy knows how to run a dirt race.
Yes, he does.
So
got a good team.
Anything else with the Cup race we need to discuss? Corey LaJoie finishes dead last. Another bad finish for him after the Bristol wreck.
Some good runs. I mean, Chris Bell, Tyler Reddick, all up there. Kyle Larson. Don't sleep on that run.
Yeah. Fifth place for Kyle Larson is a victory.
This is his worst track, and to come here with Hendrick Motorsports and get that down. I mean, William Byron. I mean, Bowman was running great.
Yep.
Again, another one of my fantasy players. He got caught up in that mess. But yeah, not so good of a finish there. But it was a really great run for a lot of guys. Kevin Harvick, once again, just a workman's effort for a top 10.
Kyle he's Busch, just top 10 in the season away.
Yep, and we have high expectations for Kevin Harvick, but maybe this is more of a Kevin Harvick type of year. He's just kind of hanging around.
Yeah, he'll be there till it matters.
He will. Yeah, that's true. That's true.
All right.
But I think we can leave Martinsville in the dust, man. Well, the Cup race anyway.
We'll hit on the Xfinity race here real quick. The Xfinity race, of course, started Friday night and then was postponed until Sunday afternoon, Sunday at noon, actually. Got rain as well. And James hinted at it earlier. Another junior motorsports prospect, Josh Berry, gets a win in his 13th Xfinity Series start. Had some opportunities with Junior this year. Basically, from the sounds of things, Junior had, sponsorship for himself and had some left over that he could run somebody else. And he picked his buddy Josh, who's been running the late model and been killer in the late model. And I mean,
for a long time in the late model, he's a short track master.
If you're going to pick a guy to run at Martinsville or to not surprise you for a win at Martinsville, it's this guy who has done as well as he has in a late model there. But I mean, we've talked a million times. You can be great at a track in a late model, but the difference between a late model and an Xfinity car are pretty big. Josh has showed some promise this year. He's gotten himself in some things that maybe
top 10s. He's running well.
Yeah, he's gotten himself in some things that maybe he shouldn't have. He's had a couple of run-ins, and of course he tried to drive through the grass in Atlanta, which was a poor decision. But it was just a prelude to the Supercross there this weekend.
No, he changed Atlanta for the future.
Right, exactly. But good on Josh for getting the win. And not just
Emotional win.
yeah,
for
emotional
everybody.
win, and not just lucking into it either. He led 95 laps in the day. He led more
Came
laps
from
than anybody else.
29th.
Yeah.
I mean, awesome, just awesome. Beat his teammate Gregson.
Yep. Gregson was coming at the end, but didn't have enough for Josh.
Yep. No, that was awesome. I mean, I don't know, Eric. It's Dale Jr.'s eye for talent. I mean, winning at Martinsville is no joke.
Who's better?
One of the toughest places.
Who's better at the eye for talent? You know where I'm going. Kyle Busch, Dale Jr. Who's got it?
Kyle Busch. It's Kyle Busch, Dale Jr. and a distant third is Brad Keselowski.
Yeah. See, Brad's is funny because Brad's didn't come to fruition right away, but they are now.
Yeah, Brad's is definitely a long-term game. I mean, we're seeing some of the seeds being sown there still.
Yeah. Chase Briscoe and Austin Cindric. Chase just made it to the Xfinity Series or the Cup Series, and Cindric will is a shoe-in for next year. Yeah,
well, and I think it's Dale Jr. right now, Eric, but he's been doing it a lot longer. But he's got the Truex championships, Xfinity and Cup,
right?
Under his reign. I mean, he brought along Brad Keselowski, so I guess he gets credit for all that too.
Yeah.
But there's a lot of guys under the junior banner. Kyle's got the Eric Joneses and Christopher Bells and of the world. They're all kind of in the Kyle Busch camp too. So there's Kyle Busch is still writing his history on that one.
See, I think the thing I like about Junior's him bringing people up is that Junior Motorsports, you've got those guys that are your career Xfinity guys. So you've got your Justin Allgaier, you've got your Michael Annett. I mean, Michael Annett, this guy probably at this point has run his course in the Xfinity Series, right?
Yeah,
but Junior still continues to field a car for him. I'm sure sponsorship helps.
It's a good team. Yeah, it's a good team.
I'm sure Pilot and Flying J is largely responsible for Michael Annett still being in that car. But so Junior doesn't just boot everybody out so he can constantly run a revolving door of young drivers through, which KBM does.
Right. Well, and you got to remember too, he brought in Danica Patrick.
That's true.
He was the one who got her into the series and then let her move along, and he'll do the same with Gregson's probably the next man up for them. But
a lot of people like to say that this is the Hendrick Xfinity team, but it's not. I mean, I don't know that Junior's got as much control over it, and maybe we should be giving all the credit to his sister.
Sure, yeah.
But that's that team. Yes, they've got the relationship with Hendrick. Yes, they get resources from Hendrick, but that's Junior Motorsports. That's not Hendrick.
Yeah. Yep, was Chance 2 a long time ago. Way back in the day with Truex.
Yep.
But yeah, you're right. I mean, it's that's the whole it's a family operation, and Kelly definitely runs the show. But with Josh Berry, that's just a great example of Dale Jr.'s. Dale Jr. has a fondness for his days at Myrtle Beach, doesn't he?
Yep.
The short track Saturday night type deal, and I wonder if that's why. He went into why he was so emotional for Josh Berry, and he's not even 100% sure why. But I think that's part of it is he was able to help this guy achieve a dream, and that's really cool. Not many people can say that they've to this level, right, Eric? I mean, this is an extreme level of achieving your dream, and Dale Jr. helped foster that. So that's pretty cool.
Yep. Yeah, very cool. And it's probably a good time to mention this, but we're going to talk about it. Well, we were going to talk about it in the news, but we can mention it now. Junior made some comments this week that, we've speculated about Junior Motorsports moving to Cup for a long time.
Yeah.
And he's always been adamant that is not in the plans. But acknowledged this week that depending on what happens with this new car and how affordable it becomes, it might be something that they begin to look at. Yeah. And, it'll be interesting to see if they decide to go that route, if they keep the Xfinity team as well, or they just go to Cup. Hopefully they'd continue to have the development team there as well. I would imagine they still would, because they've still got the late model stuff and everything too. So it's just part of the building blocks. But yeah, it's an interesting note that maybe we will see. I still think, you can hate on the way this car sounds all you want, but there's going to be a lot of good for this car. It's bringing a lot of attention for team owners to this sport.
Well, and NASCAR's a better place. No offense to, let me just pick one. No offense to Rick Ware Racing. Just as an example, I'm sorry. But the sport's better off if you've got a Dale Jr. in there. You've got a 3-car team from 2311. That it's just higher competition like we had. Gosh, Eric, I have to think back to maybe 2007, 2008, that time frame when we had so many, competitive teams.
Yeah, back with Red Bull and all that.
Yeah, Red Bull, Michael Waltrip. When Toyota was really expanding into the sport, we had a lot of influx of really high quality NASCAR Cup teams. So if we can get a Dale Jr. to come up, and you see a team like Trackhouse start to make some real progress, and Spire's got some ideas as well on how they can still advance. So I think we're heading in the right direction. If this new car is going to do anything, I think we need a JR Motorsports to come on up and take a look. Colleague Racing, they're taking a look. They're going to come up to Cup.
Yep.
That's going to be another, that's not going to be a slouch team. That's going to be a good top 15, 25. They're going to be in that range every week when they come up to the sport. They're going to be good. They're going to be solid. Not going to be competing with Gibbs and Hendrick right away, but maybe with the new car, you've got that balance that they're talking about too. So we'll see.
You mentioned Rick Ware Racing, and I just wanted to. You made me remember that I wanted to give a little shout out to. I loved Mike Joy calling out Cody Ware during the race that it was his third caution that he'd been involved in.
And that's Cody Ware.
It was so good. And we've got this in the notes too. But James Davison and Cody Ware, teammates battling each other, fighting with each other, and running into each other at Martinsville. I put it in the notes because it's a news story, but I mean, do we really care about these guys?
We had lots of like curmudgeons out there. Yeah.
I mean, seriously, we're back to the Xfinity race. We had a fight at the end of the race. James, Greg Alding, Joe Graff Jr. fought.
Yep.
I mean, so that's a big deal, right? I mean, where did they finish in the race?
Joe Graff was 38th.
So we got guys back markers fighting. Who gives a crap?
I know it's tough, but
it reminds you that everybody there is racing a race, whether it's on TV or not. But
yeah,
I mean, it's just funny.
I know.
I didn't even know we had a fight because I shut the broadcast off, and I saw it on YouTube the next day after the Cup race.
I know. And Joe Graff, he drives for one of my favorite car owner names of car owners, Bobby Dotter, which is just a great, it's a great NASCAR car owner name. Sounds like it's something out of Talladega Nights. So that's always good to reference. Eric, before we get out of the Xfinity race, I do want to draw your attention to one driver. Again, really quick.
Yeah, I know where you're going.
Ty freaking Gibbs, man. Wow.
Yep.
Wow.
I don't know where he came from, but dude, this kid is something.
Lineage from. Jeez.
It's not a fluke now, right? At this point, it can't be a fluke.
No, Eric, he's run 3 races, top 4 finishes at the Daytona Road Course, Phoenix, and Martinsville.
Yeah.
Like he's not lucking into, super speedway
and top 4 finish, but he also led 28 laps in this one.
I know. Well, I texted, so we have our group chat, and I texted you guys, and I'm like, I've seen enough. Yep. He's good. He's freaking good.
Yeah.
Like, I don't care that he's driving a Gibbs car and any of that stuff. He's
so,
good.
I mean, he's really good. He's not running the Truck Series, right? He's going straight to full-time Xfinity next year.
We'll see him run for the championship next year, and he's going to be a problem.
Yeah.
Like, if he keeps this up. I mean, we've seen guys have hot starts before early in their careers, but man, I don't know. This is different. This just seems different.
It's a good streak to start out with, that's for sure.
He's a good driver, man.
Yeah.
Wow. I'm just I don't know. I know he's, Joe's grandson, but geez.
Yeah.
I mean, that doesn't mean you're going to be a great race car driver. I don't know. That's awesome.
Right. Anything else worth talking about in this one? Austin
not a whole lot.
Had a good point day, which I know because I beat you in the points this week.
I know you only beat me by 1 position, but you beat me by 10 points. And I led 52 laps with Harrison Burton.
Right?
Ugh.
Yeah.
Gosh.
Yeah, and he only finished 1 spot behind Austin Cindric.
I know. I didn't get the stage points.
And you beat me in the Cup race, so.
I know. It killed me. Harrison Burton killed. Well, Austin Cindric killed me. He's so good.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean he's if you want points, pick Austin Cindric, that's for sure.
Yeah, Austin Cindric's season so far, and he's running the Cup race this weekend, so I've got my eyeballs on him. But yeah, 6 top 10s and 7 starts, average finish 4.6. So, and 2 wins, obviously.
Daniel Hemrick continues to be trouble and close to a win. Finishes third.
Yeah, him and Noah got a little close there. I thought
Yep.
something
I know.
fun might go down.
Hoping. I was hoping.
Yeah. Yep.
But Hemrick, I'm telling you, he's going to get a win this year. It's coming.
He will. Yeah, he's good.
You
Daniel can drive, man. I mean, he's a Cup Series Rookie of the Year. He can drive.
Yeah, exactly. All right. Let's talk some news, James. We already talked about the JRM things. We'll pass that. NASCAR Fair Board members, or not NASCAR, Nashville Fair Board members, continuing to be. I think you used the word curmudgeon earlier. This feels curmudgeon-y to me as well.
Curmudgeon-y, yeah. Well, that's my natural state.
Yeah, so Jason Bergeron, a Fair Board commissioner, raised his concerns. This is through J-Ski and NBC Sports about the time period for details on the Speedway project. Expected to be revealed May 11th at a public meeting. He addressed his doubts that there would be a NASCAR racing next year at the track. I'm not clear why this isn't a longer period. After that, for more public input, he said, I understand there are goals here. The more I dig on this timeline of urgency, we need to be honest here. There's not going to be a NASCAR race at the Speedway in 2022. There's not. There's no way the construction of basically an entire brand new Speedway facility is going to be complete between late summer 2021 and in time for 2022. I think we need to be honest about that. Just note, he is talking about the organization that just built a dirt track on a concrete track and raced the Cup cars on it.
Yeah.
For the first time in 50 years.
Yeah, and it's still racing, yeah.
Yeah, and is also in talks of putting a roof on that place. So, I mean, if somebody can do it, it's Speedway Motorsports.
Let me go the other way on this then, Eric, since you're gonna
I don't think he's wrong.
Don't doubt him. I agree with you. Don't doubt him. But there's a reason NASCAR is investing in Nashville Super Speedway for a couple of years here. They're going to buy themselves time. Yep. So this is not a surprise. And if it doesn't come onto the schedule till 2023, so be it. NASCAR's trying to make their presence in this area known. Their championship banquets will be held there in the future. I know we didn't get to do that last year because of COVID.
Right.
But yeah, so we've got the banquets there. We've got the Nashville Super Speedway. This will get done. And if it's 2023, so be it. That's the way to go. But I just think, don't doubt. I have to agree with you. You can't doubt the group that did what they just did at Bristol.
I mean, to be completely honest, it's, if you look at the tracks we've added this year and what we've done this year, I mean, you didn't expect them to race there next year, did you? I didn't expect them to race there next year.
No, I thought maybe we'd get Xfinity and trucks out there soon.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know. I kind of felt like that there wasn't even any goal.
Honestly, Eric, in the era of COVID and everything that we're going through, all you really need is a TV crew.
That is true. That is true.
Get these TV crews out there to run. But I'm sure Nashville wants to make this part of the Nashville experience, and I know they've got their Grand Prix that they're working on as well. So there's a lot of motor racing stuff going through that town. I'm sure they're just trying to make it all work, but it's a big investment. I understand that. Yeah, I didn't expect it on the schedule next year. No.
Okay.
If it was gonna be on the schedule next year, I don't know if they would have invested in Nashville Super Speedway. I honestly think that's the play.
I mean, the only thing is though, is at least Nashville Super Speedway, that's not a NASCAR or SMI owned track. Dover Motorsports is the group that's doing that.
Right.
With help from NASCAR, I'm sure. Tons of help from NASCAR.
Yeah, to get it back up to date.
But I'm with you. Would you really want 2 races in that market if you were expecting it to be that quick? I don't think so.
I don't think so either. I think you'll see the Nashville Super Speedway thing probably transition away.
Well, I think you're going to see Nashville Super Speedway absolutely suck.
Well, we're going to find out. I know they've been testing. I'm hopeful, but I don't know.
I'm not hopeful, James, because there isn't a track on the schedule that's concrete. I know we've only got 2. Plus half of Martinsville, but concrete tracks suck. I'm sorry, they just do.
Except Bristol when it, I know.
And Nashville Super Speedway has sucked. I mean, that's why it's not on the Xfinity schedule and the truck schedule. So
how long has it been gone? Almost 10 years.
It's been a while.
Something like that. Yeah. So it's been a while.
I mean, I'm optimistic for a new track, but you take 1.5 miles away and then you add 1.5 miles that's concrete. I just don't get it. Now, one thing I will note also that came out of the Marcus Smith discussion was he talked about the decision to run the second race at Atlanta this year. And he talked a little bit about Kentucky Speedway and noted that one of the reasons for that decision was that Kentucky Speedway, they weren't sure that they were going to be able to be opened up in time for that race, whereas they knew Atlanta would let them race. That leads me to believe, and it wouldn't surprise me that, I mean, there was a lot of money spent on Kentucky Speedway to make it a cup track. Yeah. I don't think they've abandoned Kentucky Speedway yet.
No, you're probably right. I think they'll be coming back.
We won't be racing another race at Chicagoland, but we will race another race at Kentucky Speedway.
I think you're right.
At least Xfinity and Truck, but I don't see why the Cup Series doesn't go back there.
Yeah, I don't see why not either.
So, and he also discredited the excitement that everybody had over the oval Atlanta Speedway and the rendering for the casino project, and that was just a loose rendering, and they are not planning on making it an oval. But
tear it back up and put it back the way it was.
Yeah, I can remember if it was Junior or if it was Mike Davis that suggested that they just rip the asphalt out of there and make it a 1.5 mile dirt track. So,
man, there's so many changes, Eric. I can't keep up with half of it anymore. Honestly,
well, I'll tell you what, you can hate, or you can hate on SMI if you want to, but that is a group that is willing to make changes to make their tracks better. They've done how much work at New Hampshire. They still haven't fixed New Hampshire, but it's better than it used to be. Yep. They redid Las Vegas and made a spectacular track out of it. They put these giant freaking video screens in at Charlotte and Texas. They did the Roval at Charlotte. They did the dirt at Bristol.
Look at Auto Club now. We know we're going.
True.
We know we're going back to Auto Club. That's on the other side. But but still, I mean, these tracks, they're making the big investment to make the changes. Yep. Like they did back in the early 2000s when we made all the cookie cutters.
Yep, exactly.
We're going the other way.
Exactly. We talked about the teammates feuding. I don't think we need to devote any more time to that. Oh, I skipped over one, James. I skipped over the big news of the week.
Oh man, this is gonna make me sound so bad. Can we put a disclaimer on this?
That it has nothing to do with the fact that she's a woman.
It's right. It does.
It doesn't. It doesn't.
It really doesn't.
So here's the thing, James. Let me just say this to help you out a little bit.
Please help me.
The thing is I still strongly believe if you're going to run a cup car, you should be able to demonstrate that you're capable of running a cup car. And I'm sorry, if you're going to run your first cup race and you have a track record like Jennifer Jo Cobb has, maybe it shouldn't be at Talladega Super Speedway.
Why couldn't she run Richmond?
Right.
I just don't like her going to Talladega. I don't mind if Jennifer Jo Cobb wants to make a start at Michigan or, Kansas.
I don't know, man. I don't know how you set a criteria.
She's been racing a long time. I mean, Eric, she's in her mid-40s.
Yeah, that doesn't make her a good driver.
I know.
And she's not. I'm sorry, guys. It has nothing to do with the fact that she's a woman. I want a woman to be successful in NASCAR.
Listen, we reamed into Derek Cope before the Daytona 500.
Yeah.
And he's won a Daytona 500. There's a point where you should not. This is the premier oval. Well, not so much oval track stock car racing. Right. I guess it would just blanket it with stock car. This is the premier stock car racing.
And we also have to put stock car in quotes.
Stock car, yeah. Premier stock car racing series in the world. Can you imagine a Jennifer Jo Cobb going to F1?
I was just gonna say,
hopping in at Monaco.
That's there is legit. Well, I guess you can't say that there's legit or legitimacy to drivers racing in the F1 series either, because I know there's controversy this year with some of the guys that are getting rides. So there has been in the past as well. So
it's getting different. Yeah, Drive to Survive on Netflix, by the way, very good.
Yeah,
just wanted to throw that out there.
But man, I struggle with this, man. I thought you couldn't make your first start at a super speedway like this. I know others have done it, but why?
She's raced them. I guess. That's the thing is, like, I thought to myself, I second guessed myself, Eric, because when I saw this news, we had our discussion already. And I'm like, well, maybe she's not as bad as I think she is. And man, I go to Racing Reference and it's all 30th and worse. And I'm just like, man.
And it's not just because she's been in crappy equipment.
It's Talladega.
Right.
It's Tala-frickin-Daga, man.
Watch her win.
It's gonna
make us all look like complete asses.
Maybe she might. I don't know. I feel confident that she won't, but yeah, I mean, we can have a Talladega night situation where there's only 2 cars on the track. Maybe. I don't know.
Right.
Man, we got some. You think about the teams and the speeds and the talent that we got out there, and it's just the combination, and she just doesn't fit that bill. But to her credit, neither does Quinn Houff. So,
Yeah.
but at least he's out there every week. There's just a handful of drivers that don't belong out there. She's on the list, man. I'm sorry, but thank you for helping me out there because I felt like I was going down a path.
No, I could have really easily taken the other direction and just tried to make you look like an ass.
James, it's 2021. She should be out there driving.
Right.
That's all you had to say.
Yeah, I certainly could have done it and done it well, and actually even sounded like I was actually believed it. But I couldn't do that to you, James, because I'm with you. I feel the same way.
Oh, thanks, man. Oh, jeez. I was worried. You definitely were more elegant than I would have been introducing that, so I appreciate that.
Yeah.
Yeah. See if it was. I'm not going to say anymore. I'm just going to let it go.
Yeah, time to wrap
we better move.
Time to wrap that discussion up.
Yeah.
I'm trying to find something.
Oh, jeez.
I'm trying to find something for later in the show. All right, let me go back here to the throwback race at Darlington has a sponsor. It is the Goodyear 400, James, and interestingly enough, this is the first time that Goodyear has been the entitlement sponsor for a NASCAR Cup Series race.
Pretty cool.
Yeah,
it's pretty cool. I did not know that. And they've got their fancy tires that they're going to be running with the blue stripes on the outside. They look pretty sweet.
Yeah.
So, yeah, cool. I mean, Goodyear's obviously we don't have to, we don't have to look very far to see Goodyear's investment in this sport.
Right.
It's not like they haven't cared before, but yeah, to be attached to the throwback race has to be a nice, touch for them. I mean, it's one of the most popular races of the year. Now that it's not the Southern 500, we still have another reason to watch Darlington. So, yeah, I think it should be good. I mean, the paint schemes are rolling out. Lots of good looking ones coming. So, yeah, I like this.
I agree. Man, I wish I could find what I was looking for. But anyway, that's it for news, unless I missed something.
No, it's been 2 weeks, so I was worried we were going to miss something regardless. But I think Easter helped slow it down a little bit. So,
yeah, I agree. We're
good, man.
Quiet in the news department. So, we go to Richmond Raceway this weekend for both the Cup and the Truck Series. Just wanted to recap because it can't be mentioned enough that I beat James this week in the picks, 89-82. So it was close.
Yes.
If it would have been for Cindric, I would not have beat James. But because of that, I still have the lead, which means James gets to pick first this week and completely screw me over, which
man.
I feel like he's going to do with the Cup pick, but I could be wrong.
Yeah.
So let's start first. I
got to check the sheet to make sure. So the last truck race, I can't see who I had.
I picked Stuart Friesen, so I'm good.
I had Matt. So yeah, so I cannot pick Matt Crafton.
Yeah, which is all right because he's not. I mean, we don't have much to base it off of because they've run one race here in the Truck Series with the current crop of drivers.
Yeah.
So first, it is the Toyota Care 250, James.
Right. Yes.
Who is your pick?
I'm gonna take a Toyota driver because I need the points. Give me John Hunter.
John Hunter. All right.
Last time I picked him, I think he either won or I don't know. He scored a lot of points, so I'll take John Hunter.
He was going to be my pick, so I had my backup, and I'm just going to go with the guy who won it last year, and it's Grant Enfinger. There you go.
So funny so two truck races ago, we had the same picks. I had John Hunter, and you had Grant Enfinger.
That's funny.
That's cool.
Okay. I'm curious where we're going to go with this one. It is the Toyota Owners 400. For the Cup Series. Who you got, James?
I'm going to take another Toyota driver.
Oh, good.
I'm going to ride the hot hand. And I'm going to go Martin Truex Jr.
That is a really good pick.
Yeah, he so last couple of races here, he's got 2 wins. He's got an average finish of 1.3, so you can't get much better than that. That's just over the last 3, I should say. But yeah, he's definitely one of the best, but Eric, I don't know where you're going with your picks, but the Penske boys are staring at me as well here. So we'll see.
I'm going to go out on a limb, and you're going to be surprised until I tell you why. So Martin Truex Jr. was on my radar, and then my actual pick, if you picked my actual pick, would have been Denny Hamlin, just because Hamlin has great history here, and I feel like he's right there. He's right there. He's going to be winning here soon.
Gonna get a win.
And I wouldn't be surprised to see him do it here. But the one I'm going with is a driver that has run really well here. He's
I think I know where you're
won
going.
here.
Yeah.
And we kind of forgot about him because we didn't get to see him here last year.
I know. I'm already pasting it into the sheet.
And I'm going Kyle Larson.
Yep. I'm going to ride him on my fantasy team, by the way, so you know.
I mean, you got a guy who did well here in a not as good of a car that's now, I mean, just did as well as he did at Martinsville, a track he's bad at.
Yeah.
And now he's coming into a track that he's won at. I mean,
he's going to be good. Yep. I like it.
There you go.
I like it a lot. Yeah. He was on my list. But
he was my first pick, so I'm excited. I got to make my first pick there for the Cup race.
Yep. Yeah. I like. I mean, Martin Truex Jr. has been showing me something here.
With Truex, man. Yeah. You're gonna get points out of him at least.
Well, I think our picks here, though. I think we've got the two best drivers in the series. Right now.
I think so. Season. I think so. Yeah. And you're not wrong. I mean, those Penske boys are gonna be right there in this thing.
Yeah. Brad's not gonna be no slouch at this one.
Another one to look at who's got a really good record here, and I know it's hard to look at him because he's not been reliable, but that's Kyle Busch. You know, this is a place he could turn it around at as well.
Yep, and also, I'd throw out there the RCR cars. Dylan and Reddick, if you're looking for some value picks, maybe I will talk fantasy in a little bit, but just some guys to kind of keep on your radar. So you got the RCR cars. This is a good spot for possibly like a Christopher Bell. You mentioned the Gibbs guys. He doesn't have a long history here, but he's capable. He's highly capable of running pretty well. I like where we're going here. There's some good. Heck, Eric Bubba Wallace might not be a bad choice. Again, looking for some value there, but just some names thrown out at you. But Kyle's going to be a problem. He's led the most laps here in the last few years. So, he would have been a good pick, even though he hasn't won a whole heck of a lot lately. You never doubt Kyle Busch. I still don't. Yeah, he's in the Jimmy Johnson territory.
Yeah, you certainly can never count him out. That's for sure.
Speaking of Jimmy, he's putting the rookie stripe on and heading out.
You took one of my shout outs. It's all right. I've got like 5 of them, but. The IndyCar Series opens its schedule this weekend at the Barber Motorsports Park, I think is what it's called. Honda Indy Grand Prix of Alabama. I just pulled the page up, and Jimmy Johnson gets to put the rookie stripe on the back of the IndyCar.
Yeah, that's a good rookie.
Yeah,
we'll see how he does. I'm going to tune in. I want to see how he runs.
Very excited. Yep.
And he hinted this week, Eric, possibly running the Indy 500 in next season.
Nice. Yeah, and I think it's happening.
Oh, he's going to do it.
He's going to do it.
I hope he calls smoke and they figure it out.
Yeah.
Like, come on, Tony. Run the thing one more time. Come on.
It would be cool.
I don't think he's going to, but that's okay.
It would be neat. Let's talk Fantasy League, James.
Oh, God. That was a nightmare.
I think I finished 5th, and if it wasn't for Brad, I'd have been doing pretty well. There was one point in the race, James, where I had the top 5 guys.
Yeah, I had all the guys, and I had all of my bonus picks were ones, and I was like, yes, this is it. Today is my day. And then Bowman wrecked, and then Blaney had problems, and I ended up finishing 8th. I lost. I think I lost 60 bonus points. It's just... That's so sad.
Oh, I found my other shout out. Okay, I'm good. The thing I've been searching for the entire episode I found.
Perfect. Well, let me get through this GD Fantasy League.
Sounds good.
So, Martinsville, your winner, Tandem Draftona, Ranger Runyon, and Denny the Many, your top 3.
Nice.
And then overall standings, just a second, is Ranger. He's way out front. But, Eric, we got a little bit of a clump here. Raging Redneck is second. And then for third, Freight Train's locked in at 3rd, but then we've got Mr. Consistency, myself, Denny the Many, Barron Speedway, KB Show, Fast to the Grass. We are all within 40 points of each other.
Nice.
When you get to Fast to the Grass, we're about 50 points away, but we're all very close to that number 3 spot. So, the top 2 guys are Rangers running away with it right now, but one of our new guys, Raging Redneck, he's hanging around.
Nice.
And then there's Todd. And that's that bozo in the tower, as Eric said last week. So funny.
Love it.
So good. So good.
Love it. All right, shout outs. I'm gonna just kick it off, James, because I always go to
Go
you
for it.
first, and half the time you're not
Do
ready
your thing,
for it.
man.
So
Go hard.
I've
Yes,
got
go
I've
hard.
got a couple of them. So first of all, I wanted to give a shout out. I know we talk Supercross on here from every now and then. Don't get into it real heavy, but I'm a Supercross fan, and I know some of the people that listen to the show are Supercross fans, and I wanted to shout out Cameron McAdoo. And James, if you didn't see it, you need to search for Cameron McAdoo Atlanta 2021. They started the main event, so he's a 250 cc rider, so that not the premier class but the lower class, basically the Xfinity class in Supercross, and goes out in the main event, and they're coming down this rhythm straightaway, and
I googled him, and the first thing that came up is
they have the tunnel jump that they normally run underneath, but at Atlanta they just had it as an actual landing jump. But this thing's 3 stories up in the air, almost straight up the ramp. So he came up wrong on a jump before it and went head first, top of the bike, into the face of this jump. The bike flipped over, his foot stayed connected to the bike, and he flipped back up on top of the thing.
Gosh.
I thought I thought he was dead. Like, I thought for sure he's out. They red flagged the race to restart it. And while they're red flagged, he is negotiating with AMA and Feld Motorsports to allow him to continue. They check him out. The Alpine Stars medical crew checks him out. They clear him to race. He gets on the bike. He gets the whole shot on the restart of the race and finishes freaking third.
That's awesome. I'm watching it. I'm watching it right now. This is great,
dude. It was insane. So I had to shout out Cameron McAdoo in this thing because, just there was no bigger feat than that this weekend in racing.
Guys, Supercross riders are tough as
they're
bleep.
Insane.
I'll just say bleep. They are tough as bleep because, man, they're nuts.
It's
they're
insane.
A whole different breed.
Yeah,
guys on motorcycles are crazy.
They
all are.
Happened Tuesday night. He's gonna end up. He'll race. He'll run the race on Saturday. And the reason it's a big deal is because he was only a couple points behind the points leader. And basically, if he would have not been able to start the main event, his championship hopes would have been over. There's only 2 more races to go for the East or the West Series is what he's part of. Yeah. And so by doing that, the guy he's racing won the race. So he only finished 2 spots behind him and keeps himself in the running for the championship going into the last 2 races. So
jeez.
Very cool deal. And then the other one that I wanted to shout out, I joke he's my coworker because he works for Hearst as well, and my day job is for Hearst. But I wanted to shout out Matt Weaver. Great reporter for Auto Week. He's one of the hardest working NASCAR / stock car / racing reporters there is. He's all over the place when COVID's not happening. And so he wrote an article, and the reason I couldn't find it is because it was back in April, but it just kind of took off around the Bristol weekend. It's called, and I'll put the link in the show notes, it's Our Vision for the 2026 NASCAR Cup Series schedule. And it's basically his fantasy schedule for what we could expect in 2026. And it uses a lot of the rumors, like the Chicago Street Course and stuff like that in it. I believe the Chicago Street Course is in here. Yeah. But, it's got the new Fontana track. It's got Nashville Fairgrounds and all that stuff. It's just an interesting look. It's very fantasy, and you're going to read through it, and you're going to go, yeah, that's not going to happen. That's ridiculous. But it's not too far-fetched. It's just a good read, and I think Matt does good work, period, and it's worth reading his stuff. But for some reason, this article caught my attention. It's a listicle format, so it's designed to drag you through so you see all the ads and stuff. But it's well done. It's a neat little read. So
nice work.
Yeah, I'll be in the show. That'll be in the show notes, so you guys can check that out as well.
Oh, good. I haven't read that yet, so I'm looking forward to it.
It's good stuff. James, You got any shout outs this week?
Yeah, I do. I have 2. One, I want to shout out me real quick. No. So right before we hopped on the pod, as you know, Eric, I like my activity app Strava. That's where I record my runs. Right.
I know where you're going.
So we're getting ready for the podcast, and I get a notification on my phone. Bob Pockris has followed you on Strava. I'm like, whoa, that's awesome.
That is awesome.
So I looked really quick because curiosity killed the cat, right?
Right.
He follows 45 people on this app, including, it's a small list, so I'm on this list of 45. That's why I'm geeking out, right?
Yeah.
So I'm on the list of 45 people with Dale Jr., Jeff Gluck, Jimmy Johnson, Marty Smith, Alan Cavana. Hold on. There's a couple more I'm going to throw out there. Just some name. I know I'm just part of these names now, Eric. Me and my friend Bob. Josh Wise, Landon Castle. Let me see. Hold on. There's more. There's more good ones. Scott Legacy, Steve Letarte, Steve O'Donnell.
Dang.
Bozo's boss. Trevor Bain. So there you go.
Wow.
A list of 45. I made Bob's 45 favorite Strava people. Look at that.
Man,
so proud of myself.
You know,
I am blowing my smoke up my own. You know what?
So the Bob Podcast connection doesn't earn you the victory. I think we've talked about it on the podcast before, our little battle.
Our social media game.
Yeah,
yes.
Who has the most clout? Who's had the best interactions? I don't think that gets you the victory by any means. And if I don't count the NASCAR side, I still take the cake with the Jimmy Fallon follower. But that being said, being in the same category as the 7-time champion Jimmy Johnson,
I'm pretty proud of myself.
That's a pretty big deal. That ranks you pretty high.
Hopefully my wife doesn't listen to this. This is one of my biggest accomplishments. I don't know where it ranks, but it's right there.
Wow.
It's right there. Yeah, that comment we'll get back to her. I have no doubt.
Oh, I'm messaging her right now. As soon as the show's done, I'm going to edit that particular clip out and just text it to her.
Perfect. Good. No, that's great. No, it's I'm telling you, some funny stuff, man.
That's cool. You told me the Pockers thing beforehand, but you didn't give me the list of people you were with, although I started to put it together as you were talking about it, that Jimmy had to be on that list.
Yeah, I'm excited. I'm excited.
That's
so
good.
Every time this one person in the entire world looks at their feed, they're going to see Jimmy Johnson and very might scroll down and see me right next to him.
That's awesome.
I know. It's super nerdy, super dumb, but I don't care.
No, I'm with you, man.
It's my own bubble, and that's fine.
We should have led with this. I mean, it's the biggest news of the week.
It is big news. No, but I think one of the coolest news of the week is my other shout out. This is a legit shout out, by the way. This isn't just me goofing off. So we've mentioned Lefty Designs on this podcast many times. He won Marcus Lemonis's truck design contest.
That is awesome.
$7,500, and he designed an awesome truck. And if you're not following Lefty on social media, shame on you, because he does great work. And I just thought it was really cool that not only is he got a chance to design cars for his hero Jimmy Johnson, but he's making this thing happen, Eric. He's doing it. Pretty cool. So
yeah, I'm with you. I don't have a whole lot to add with him. He's done some great work.
He's young, man. He's just a kid.
Yeah, even if you don't like his designs, they're still great. He does an excellent job with them. Some of them are a little out there from what I'd expect, but a lot of his stuff is really, really good. And his whole story, has been pretty neat to follow. So, he reminds me of, the Eric Estep, or however you pronounce his name, these guys that kind of, and even Aaron Bearden, these guys that come kind of out of nowhere with a dream and then get involved in the sport. It's pretty neat.
You get a little break here, a little break there, and all of a sudden you're on the phone with Jimmy Johnson, and now you're winning a contest for Marcus Lemonis. And for anybody who doesn't know who that is, that's the Camping World guy.
Can we shout out Marcus Lemonis too? I mean, this guy is throwing money around in this sport
it's cool.
Nothing. It is awesome.
Yeah, he's drawing attention to his brand for sure. I mean, it's great.
I want to go to Camping World and buy a camper. I just bought a house though, so it's not going to happen. But
well, I'm in the market for a camper. So Marcus, if you ever hear this podcast, let's talk, man.
Yeah, hey man, if you want to sponsor the podcast, we'd be down. Totally down.
Yeah, you know what? I'm just gonna have to hit him up on social.
There you go. What happens. Hit him up. You're the social media expert. I'm expecting some big things out of you.
I don't know about that. We'll see.
I'm certainly not.
Yeah.
James, where can Marcus Lemonis find you on Twitter if he wants to sponsor the show?
At James Cush on Twitter.
You can find me at TSuperspeedway on Twitter. You can find the podcast on Facebook at facebook.com/thesuperspeedway. If you want more of the podcast, you can find it at thesuperspeedway.com. We have old shows, past episodes, old coverage of races, photos. Back in the day when COVID wasn't happening and you could actually go to the racetrack. And you can find the show notes for all the episodes with links to articles we discuss in the episode, all that stuff. So check that out, thesuperspeedway.com. You can find the podcast on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google Play, Stitcher, and SoundCloud. Wherever you found us today, we hope you subscribe and continue to listen. And if you want to help out the show, you can become a patron at patreon.com/thesuperspeedway. We go to Richmond Raceway this weekend for some more NASCAR action. Hopefully the weather stays away and we can get everything in when it's supposed to run. Truck Series on tap, Cup Series on tap, and then after that, guys, we go to Talladega. I mean, what's better than that? So
she's looming.
Yeah. So we'll be back next week to discuss Richmond, break it all down, and preview Talladega. And I'm gonna go play with my new pug puppy. So you guys have a good one. We'll be back next week. Until then, everybody, let's go racing.